tutorial starts with a song, but it's only a few seconds long.
Computer animation. Computer animation. Computer animation.
Let's get started with animation. Sometimes I think the tutorials are too long, my tutorials are too long, and I want to make a short one. Create any kind of object. Because we're going to make it fluffy, and you can make any type of object fluffy. Right mouse click, create a new material, an Arnold standard surface shader, and that's fine. We go one step higher in the hierarchy by pressing this icon here. And this is the shader we usually deal with. We can access it by clicking here. That's where we just came from. But now we want to introduce a volume material. We click here and go down to the Arnold section, and you can now search for the AI volume shader, or just type in here volume, and you find it here, AI standard volume. That's what we want to have. It has a density. It has a scattering color, and apart from that, when we render it, we of course need a light. We don't see anything fluffy. Grayish outline of our sphere here under the influence of the sky dome light. And the reason for that is because we actually need, and I think this is too complicated. I made a tutorial about this a while ago. You need to go to the actual geometry. That geometry, and the geometry has an Arnold section down here. This is the attribute editor of the sphere. Here is the Arnold section, and when we go all the way down, we find volume attributes. Open this section. It has two entries, and now you type in 0.1 and 1.0, and you have some kind of fluffy material. It's the starting point for a cloud, for example. Or you can fill a blood vessel with this kind of volume material. In order to make it transparent, we need to reduce the density, of course, and it's not here because we need to go all the way back here to our volume shader and reduce the density now. Density here. And let's click here. Instead of typing in values, we could type in values, for example 2. And we get this kind of displacement here. But 0.1 is kind of boring, really. So we go back to 0. Now we want to map it with something exclusive. And you can use any kind of textures, and I prefer the 3D textures here in Maya, in the Maya rendering section, for example the marble. And we go to place 3D texture and click interactive placement. We're placing the shader in a different way now, and we can animate this. Now, when you actually get closer to the object, it looks really interesting. And when you go to the node here of our volume shader, you can change the scatter color, for example. Make it yellow, like this. Or you can map the color with some other kind of node, for example, with a ramp. So it goes from black to white. You can insert a color right here, for example, some kind of red. And the nice thing is you can go inside. And all I'm going to do is now I'm creating a camera from that view, go to frame number 0, press S for the camera, and go to the end of the animation and get very close to my object and maybe inside that object right here. And then here I set another keyframe for the camera. So the camera's motion is this. And for example, if we render the last frame, we need to select the camera here. Now, this is what we get. So keep in mind, we have only one light in the scene. We have basically one shader working, which is that volume shader, a displacement map, and a ramp which goes from black over red to white. That's basically all, and we get such a complex object. What you don't have here is some kind of smoke, vapor, etc. It doesn't move. It's not particles. It's a static shader. And all you can do is change the shape of the object, for example, squeeze that sphere, or change the placement node, which we did with expressions. Bye-bye.